Hello. We're recording this on Wednesday, July 14th around 5:40 p.m. Pacific time. So game 4, I believe, is starting to get underway. And today is the next episode of this podcast.
Yeah. So I guess we could first talk about, I mean, you saw on Twitter, right? Like the whole Dogecoin situation.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
do
that's
you, yeah,
that's crazy. This whole saga so far, I'm telling you, like first the interaction that maybe a tech giant, say Elon Musk, is having
yeah,
pushing Dogecoin like I don't think people understand how crazy it is. Like before we had this age of the internet, and before um, uh, this sort of perspective of tech giants that we never had before in the past, when people used to in the past when people used to gain a lot of money, they used to become
right.
less accessible to the public, and you never really heard like a crazy. You never really heard the crazy thoughts of a billionaire before,
Yeah,
but then now you're getting a very nice look into that, at least on a very superficial level, as is with the cases with
yeah.
Twitter.
And the thing is, the dude even went on SNL
Mhm.
to, like, he did that segment towards the end to
That's crazy,
give,
yeah.
yeah, like tell people what it's about. But the thing is, like, I mean, I put money in Dogecoin. I put minimal money because I didn't really think it was viable.
Hmm.
Which it's proven not to be because one, I put like what $40-$50 into it. I've already lost 12
Yeah, yeah,
because
you're
even
crazy. Like, oh, by the way, for the viewers and the listeners at home, Nikhil over here, every once in a while loves to talk about his investments. So I mean, he's very interested in this. I'm telling.
I'm no, see, I'm not a good investor,
Oh
but
yeah,
I do
okay.
put a lot of money. Yeah, I used to
Okay.
do, but yeah, but the thing is, like, even with Dogecoin, like, I put it when it was pretty decently low and it went up a lot. It
Hmm.
made a ton of money, but
Yeah.
that's during the span of time when Elon Musk was like actively keeping it afloat.
Yeah.
But now if you see it's just dropping off a cliff because even Musk can't keep it afloat because that's, I mean, that's Bitcoin, right? It's based on hype, and
Hmm.
then some of it is also based on social media and stuff like that. And some of it is based on real value. So
Yeah.
the thing is, like, even Dogecoin can't stay afloat even when Musk keeps it alive. You have guys like Mahomes and other athletes even putting money in it. But yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So the only reason that someone in the public eye is putting money in and then telling the public they're putting money in it is so that they can artificially raise the price and then dump it. That's
right,
what they did with Bitcoin. Um, uh, I read that Elon Musk made so much money investing in Bitcoin and then selling the stock. So he would take Tesla, he would take shares of Tesla stock that he had. He would put the money into Bitcoin. He would put the money into Bitcoin. He would raise all this hype on the subject and keep moving it, making more people invest, more people invest. If this billionaire is investing in it, then surely it's a good investment. It kind of the
yeah,
rationale with some of these people. I know in the comment section, a ton of people are going to be like, "Oh, you suck. You're a terrible person. Cryptocurrency is going to be the future. Oh, it's going to be great. Oh, you're just terrible. You don't know what you're talking about." But as soon as the guy talks about the climate issues,
right.
in terms of how much energy it really takes to run this sort of currency, and he talks about these climate issues. If you can't see me, I'm doing the air quotes right now. And the
Yeah,
reason I'm doing the air quotes is, although the climate issues are true, he knew about this way before he told anyone.
yeah,
And so, I mean, he's not an especially he researches the subjects that he invests in. So you knew he knew this, but he led a ton of people off a cliff as soon as he said that he wasn't going to invest, and he dropped his shares, but made a ton of money because of the hype he created.
and I think, I mean, that's a strategy. A lot of these guys who put a lot of money into it because they have the influence to control the shares.
Yeah.
But I think the interesting thing about Dogecoin, I think why it's so, I guess it'll be part of the history books when you look out years and years from now, economists look at it, is how one man essentially moved the market in either way, up or down. And it's also, I mean, I don't think any guy couldn't have walked down on the street and told everybody and everybody would have invested. It's only guys like, I think Cuban is especially that kind of personality.
Yeah.
Musk, Cuban, these billionaire guys who are presumed to be like the common guy. Because if you walk down and we'll
It's
get into
also,
this,
I
but
think it's also a thing that in politics is they're trying to replicate, especially
yeah,
so. You're like these people who are very, very removed from the common everyday issues,
yeah,
using talking points to get back favor with individuals they do not care about, that they will try to actively hurt,
yeah.
and just trying to get in good with it. Then this is not some political siding. This is happening
No,
on
no,
both
yeah.
in both
I think
political parties.
it's common. It's happened throughout history, but there's
Yeah,
only certain individuals who have the charisma. You have guys like Trump, you have guys like Musk, you have guys like Cuban who have the charisma, even though they financially are far removed from the people they're, getting to in a way.
yeah. Like, and then for all the people who we know, who may get a little pissed off when we talk about Trump having good charisma, what we mean by that is that if you go and listen to Trump speeches and you go
Yeah,
and
and
listen
yeah,
to how the people who follow him listen to him, and even if you talk to them, they know that a lot of things are maybe hyperbole or maybe they
right.
don't, but the way they believe in him, that sort of gaining that sort of trust over a group of people, no matter which group of people it is, maybe,
Yeah,
I don't know, they may be racist, they may be short-sighted, but gaining trust over a large group of people, that's something that politicians, any really successful politician is able to do, and he does it
and
really well. He does it
and
well with
like
his
it's
base.
yeah, it's not a political statement. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not about what Trump says or what Trump does, but it's how Trump is able to get to the group.
Hmm.
It's He's not, first of all, let's be clear. A lot of these guys aren't great public speakers,
Yeah,
but
they
they're
are
still
not.
able to affect the people that they're talking to. And
Yeah.
that's a talent. Like Musk is definitely not a great public speaker.
I mean, if you
Cuban,
see,
he's
yeah,
pretty good, but
I mean, yeah, if you see Musk in interviews, he's either looks nervous, or if you are some great supporter of Musk and said, no, 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 his brain is thinking a lot faster than he's speaking. Well, let me tell you that him taking his time, mumbling over words or stuttering or going back and forth over topics, it's not stuff that makes it easier to understand what he's saying. It isn't.
right.
Um, uh, but once he gets onto social media, he knows what his talking points are. Just like Trump's talking points on the when he goes from county to county or state to state in order to do his stump speeches. His talking points are about immigration, about people trying to take their jobs, people's
Right.
jobs, about the Democrats trying to take control your lives. These are all easily accessible talking points that prey on the fears of these people, that these people's fear have a genuine fear about. Whether they should have that fear or not, another concern. He knows they have that to begin with, and so he takes advantage of it. Similarly with Musk, he knows the people who follow him on Twitter are spending a lot of time on Twitter. They're not spending a lot of time, say, researching
Yeah.
the stuff they're investing in, and they see Musk as this sort of wizard with technology and money, and that he's some great man because he's doing cool things with a lot of money. And as soon as they see the rockets and the money, they assume that his success is something that at least they can try to aspire to. And then
Yeah.
because he knows that, and because he knows that if he says something good, then everyone else thinks that if they follow it, they're like him.
Yeah.
Just like with Trump, if he preys on their insecurities about maybe not having as much money or as much success as him, by talking about Bitcoin as a way to get more money and prey on that insecurity, then suddenly you can change markets.
Yeah. And that's why I think I find this like space race kind of funny, right? Like this
Yeah.
billionaire space race.
Mhm.
Because what you're seeing is in the financial industry, or even in the basketball arena, you have guys like Cuban and Musk, and Trump is not a billionaire, but you know what I'm
Steve
saying, like the
Ballmer.
rich guys. Yeah. And then you have guys like Branson and
Steve
Bezos.
Ballmer always looks like
Yeah,
he's
Steve
on
Ballmer
he's
too.
on some
Especially, yeah.
type of drug. He is crazy up on that stage. I mean,
There's that
like
video of
he's
him like
always out
holding
of
people,
breath and he's always like hunched over in his chair, like
and
either
he's like
screaming
he has so
internally
much
or externally.
energy too. Crazy energy.
Yeah, it's
For
like
for a franchise like the Clippers, that's a little too much energy to have. But what I'm saying is like these guys, I think that's why people are kind of turned off by the space race, but people aren't necessarily that angry about the market fluctuation that these guys are doing.
mhm.
Is if you look at billionaires like Branson and Bezos, they lack that charisma. So they get a lot more hatred, even though pretty much in the background they're doing similar things the other group is doing.
Yeah, I don't know if
Except they
Branson
don't
gets much hatred. I mean, he's just out of the
he,
public
he's
eye
pretty laid
altogether.
back. He's pretty laid back. And thing is he puts a lot more money in for businesses compared to
Didn't Branson
Bezos.
do Virgin Airlines, I think? I think that was
Yeah,
like his big
and
thing.
And then Bezos is more. He's first of all, Bezos has more targets on his back because he is, I
I
guess, now
I think
second
like
richest
better
guy.
examples
But
would be Bezos and of course our big Microsoft guy, Bill Gates. People
I mean,
people hate.
Gates is kind of like on a redemption tour post
Well,
Microsoft. Yeah,
he's on a redemption tour, but then like it's a very controversial redemption tour. It's
yeah,
like one where he like there are these things that he's supposedly doing with the foundation that are like great, but then like especially with the vaccine, a lot of I would say vaccine oh god, a lot of things like with other ventures per se, um uh, maybe something some people are ill informed about some certain subjects and then take
right.
issue with him, or the very well justified hatred that he had back in 2009 with his court case over the monopoly over, I think it
Yeah,
was over Internet Explorer, the fact that Internet
yeah.
Explorer,
When Internet Explorer was the thing, like
yeah.
course, yeah. So, but it's the thing about the space race. That's why so many people are like, they don't like the space race. I personally, I'm not a fan of the space race either. I don't mind them doing it, but it's cool, but it's
No, no,
not
no. You're a
something.
fan of the space race. Stop
No, no, no,
talking. You're good. You like the
no, no,
space
no,
race. You
no.
like
Listen,
it.
listen. Let me tell you what. Let me tell you what.
Yeah.
Usually, I'm a fan of the billionaires. I love billionaires. You know
I
that.
don't know about that. You're gonna get yeah, you're gonna get a lot of flack. I mean, a lot of people are gonna be in your in the hate
No, no.
threads in the comments
That's
section.
just
Be like, yo, this
economic
guy
principle.
loves billionaires. He just wants sucks up to them. He loves this billionaires.
Okay, regardless, it's just economic principle of mine. But what
Oh
I'm
yeah,
saying is,
economic principle. Okay.
but the thing is, like, the reason I'm not totally like into the space race part of it is number one, it would be cool if I was in that position, right? Like
Hmm.
just looking at some guy go to the atmosphere for 11 seconds. Yeah, it's cool for those 11 seconds, but after that, it's not like, it's not that big. But I think and also their marketing has been horrible. The way they've marketed it and the timing that they're doing it is horrible timing.
Yeah.
Like
Well.
you should have timed it better, not during a pandemic. Like pandemic's almost over. It's only a couple months up.
Yeah.
I
Hopefully.
know science can't slow down for a pandemic, but like the timing and the marketing has been horrible. And the guy who's in the face of this whole space race, which is Bezos, he's not the most liked guy in the world. So I
Hmm.
think it just gets a bad rap for who's
Okay,
in
you
it.
say he gets a bad rap. A lot of people don't think he. I mean, I'm telling you, audience. I don't. If you're listening, yeah, this guy loves talking about quote unquote economics with me and like in our group chats and stuff. It's crazy.
Look, I have no hatred for these guys.
Okay.
I told you, but
No,
like,
I don't fine. Fine. That's great. That's fine. I'm just saying. It's a bit interesting.
yeah, it's just like the one of the few things that I'm not a big fan of. Number one, because it doesn't interest me as much as I thought it would.
Hmm.
But it's more so the fact that I want to be in the position compared to being the guy watching them be in the position.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. An aspiration thing. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Um. Uh, I don't know because I would say Branson, like, I mean, the only thing you hear about Branson is like an article, a hit article, like every 6 to 8 months about what crazy thing he's doing on some private
Yeah.
island that no one else knows that he's doing. By the way, you hear about McAfee, you hear about
Yeah.
McAfee
Yeah. Yeah.
dying, and then the tweets from like a year ago
Yeah.
saying that if he died, it was suspicious. And
Yeah.
if they say that he killed himself, that it wasn't him. Like, that's crazy.
I'm surprised that whole McAfee incident didn't get more of a run. Like I thought it
Yeah,
would get more of
it's
a
like
run
people
from
were
the
like,
internet.
"Oh, this guy who mysteriously died, said that the only way he would kill himself is if someone put a hit job on him." By the way, let's just move on to the next thing.
Yeah, it fizzled much faster than you thought. Some guy, guy like McAfee, is
That's
just
crazy. That
is
guy
just
did
such
some
an internet
insane stuff.
sensation. It died faster than you think it would have died.
Yeah.
Well, I think another, I guess, another star in the internet, like Richard Branson's been one news of the week, but there's also obviously Space Jam coming out, right?
Oh yeah.
Space Jam New Legacy with LeBron. I think he did the premiere with, and then he had the
There's a
whole thing with.
Fortnite skin with LeBron on it now.
Oh
So you can
God,
see
dude,
LeBron hit shots
I
in
don't
games
get
and
it. Like
dance on
I
people.
don't know.
Maybe he'll do his patented salsa dance on people once he gets the victory royale.
I think maybe Bronny forced him to get the whole Fortnite thing
Oh
because
yeah, Bronny's part of FaZe or something, right? Yeah.
yeah. So I think maybe that's what, because Fortnite's like 2 years removed from its prime, and LeBron doesn't look like
Yeah,
the guy
now
who would
4 years. I
who would
think 2017,
voluntarily do
2018
that.
was like a good time. Was like its prime. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but
They're just trying to stay relevant. They're trying to become instead of like a shooting game. They're trying
yeah,
to become a hype game, like
like
a
it's
game
like
based
Among
solely on
Us.
quote unquote culture. But because of the typecasting they've restricted themselves to in terms of art form and type of game that they've designed, it doesn't lend well to many other types of cultures than the one that's created over this sort of. The art style is not like a shooting game. It's more like it's I don't know, it's more like a pinball machine, like with bright lights, bright colors, a lot of sort of quote unquote wild or quote unquote wacky sort of
Yeah,
side gimmicks like
animation too,
dancing over people, over the people you shoot, and like the skins that the people have.
and then
It's
Ninja came along too.
Yeah, and so it just doesn't lend well to basketball, or like not to not to people who like basketball who are maybe a little bit older than 10,
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
a little
like
bit older than
most
10.
if you're in a 30, I mean, okay, I think during its prime, people between like 10 and like maybe even 35 played it for
Yeah.
fun. But now it's fizzled into this very small category. But yeah, LeBron doing, but I think it's just promotional. I don't think it's anything but promotional just to put his name out. People who are, because he wants to get to the younger audience, right? Because he
Yeah.
needs to kind of,
Space
I,
Jam, and also
yeah,
like the yeah.
I hate to like make use of the word, but like maybe kind of brainwash them into thinking Michael Jordan isn't the real GOAT. Well,
Bruh,
I'm the
okay,
real GOAT.
first of all, you can't say you know why your audience, you know why he's saying this is because he thinks
What?
LeBron
No,
James is the GOAT, and so what he's trying to do right now is to try to tell you, "Oh, I'm an unbiased person.
no, no, no. I
I can
never
say
said I'm
negative things about
unbiased.
LeBron James and still say that he's the GOAT." And then he'll say like this sort of brainwash, he'll use
I'm never.
brainwash
No,
words
no,
just
no.
to try to make you think he's unbiased. He is biased,
No,
okay?
no, no. The reason I say that is because Last Dance put, like, kind of gave the resurgence to this whole Michael Jordan is the GOAT conspiracy theory, which is all fake, obviously. But it gave rise to the younger audience and put it in their mind that Michael Jordan was the real GOAT. So
Yeah.
Space
And
Jam
it
is
did a
just to
pretty good
cover it up
job, let
and
me tell you. The reason I think that did a good job is because it didn't just say nice things about Michael Jordan. There were like a solid 3.5, 4 episodes where they just talked about how mean he was or how much gambling he did.
yeah, I mean, you got to cover the truth, right? And
Yeah,
also,
exactly. So that's why. I mean, he didn't have to. It was his documentary. He could have just told him, "No, be quiet. Don't tell me about any of that stuff." But because like it was pretty balanced in its view of Michael Jordan, and it gave these perspectives from a ton of
oh,
people, some of which were
come on.
negative.
It wasn't balanced. Oh, if it was balanced,
Yeah,
Scottie
maybe
Pippen
not
wouldn't be
Scottie
having
Pippen. It
the.
wasn't balanced, but I
Yeah,
mean,
if it was balanced, it wouldn't give Scottie Pippen the mental breakdown he's been having the last
no,
few
no, no,
weeks.
no, 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 no. Larson been giving him that breakdown. Let me tell you. Okay, I'm telling you, people. He may be able to tell the press that it's because of this Last Dance documentary, but it isn't that, man. I mean, when someone
We
drops
all
an
know what
album,
it is.
they have a song about. He's
But
just.
yeah, I guess but yeah, I
uh,
guess Space Jam is coming out. I think maybe this Friday. So, but yeah, I don't know. It when I saw the trailers, it just looked like they had so much money that they decided we're just gonna dump a bunch of animation because nobody's gonna question us, and
mhm.
they put a bunch of bright lights, just throw a bunch of characters, and then there's a whole Lola controversy, but we won't get into the
Bro,
whole
it's just
Lola.
furries, okay, man. Furries, an extremely repressed individuals, okay. I mean, on the internet, it's crazy. Like, because the internet is anonymous, or you can make it anonymous.
Yeah,
you don't put your you don't get verified or put your actual name, people can say whatever they want, and a lot of what they want isn't what they would say in real life. Okay,
That's
these
true.
repressed furries is just crazy. Okay, this needs. I'm telling you.
Yeah, but are you gonna watch Space Jam, or are you just like one of those guys who's just too like, you know what, this is all not good. I'm gonna stick to the true OG Space Jam, like you're a Skip
I
Bayless.
I watched like half of the original Space Jam. Um, uh, and let me tell you, like for a 95 movie, sure, it's not like some cinematic masterclass or
Yeah, yeah.
anything.
But it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was fine. I mean, it wasn't funny even by a normal standard, but
But
I
yeah,
just
for its
think
time though.
I think just by watching like the Charles Barkley moments at the
Oh,
beginning, big the round mound of rebound, and then watching him
for a
stumble on the
sports
court,
movie, for a
and then
sports
seeing
movie.
Michael Jordan say some lines because he's such a terrible actor, and
But
like he
he
says stuff
tried
like
though.
this every single time, and he always looks like he's doing a commercial when trying to talk to animated characters, and that was
But
just funny. I just like that.
I think it's like, I think the original. I mean, honestly, it was way tougher for Jordan, right?
Yeah, of
Compared to
course it
the
was way yeah
resources.
because like 95 way different scene for whole
Yeah,
animated stuff. Yeah.
yeah. Like at least now you have like substitutions for where the animations would be, so the actual actors can,
Yeah.
talk to the animator and animations better. But yeah, it's definitely. And then they, who else do they have in the movie? They have Anthony Davis. They have Clay Thompson.
Ben Clay is gonna come back. I'm telling you,
Yeah,
having Clay Thompson is the only
I
part
think
worth
Clay
in that
Thompson is
movie.
one of the villains. I don't remember. Yeah, I think he is one of the
Is
villains.
who?
Clay Thompson,
Yeah. Um. Uh,
uh,
Kevin
Monstars,
Love.
and then
I
Kevin
think.
Love's in it.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm
I,
just gonna
I,
say
I,
random
I
people that he played with.
I know. I don't think these are people. I know there's Davis. Uh, I know. Or Ernie is in it.
Ernie?
Uh, yeah, he's one of the commentators.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah,
he's just
he
gonna make
doesn't
like
play. Elevator Ernie does not
a
suit
couple
up.
$1,000 just there, just dropping it there. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's a cool video of him meeting with Supreme Dreams, with Mark Phillips,
Oh
the
yeah, yeah,
guy
yeah,
who
yeah, yeah. I saw that, and then I'm 36.
36.
I'm 36, and then that was like the video that they show, and then he was so happy and so nice, and then
That
like
was cool.
when LeBron told his wife, like, "Yo, this is the guy. This is the guy." It's like LeBron was meeting an actor or something. Like that's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's
It
it's
must have
it's
made it. Yeah,
honestly
that was
kind of cool.
crazy.
I mean, I've seen like Mark Phillips's videos for like the last 2 3 years. He
Yeah, it's
makes really. If
solid
any of our
every
listeners
time.
don't know, yeah, if any of our listeners don't know, you should
Oh,
check him
if
out on
any of your
YouTube.
listeners don't know, you're not gonna be here. Okay, I mean, come on, it's
So yeah, but
crazy.
RDC World One, it's, if you honestly, he does a ton of skits. He did a one about Amber Alerts that was really funny. But
Yeah, it's like yeah, the one where there's an old lady and that kidnapped a child, and so they all run outside, and then the guy gets the car and starts driving. And they're all, yo, we gotta go catch this child.
yeah, but so it's like, I think Space Jam is, I don't know. I might watch it, depends. And that Don Cheadle's in it too, but it looks like a good pro. They had Zendaya voicing, I think, Lola. I don't know. Yeah, I
Mhm.
think Lola. And then so they had a couple other unknown actors, but it'll be pretty cool, I think. But I think they shouldn't have marketed it like the way they did. I think they were, ESPN. ESPN is like the
It's go,
biggest
it's go,
pusher of LeBron
it's going down in
goatness.
flames. ESPN is going down in
Yeah.
flames.
Oh, we don't like ESPN is, other than First Take, which I still kind of watch just because of Stephen A, but it's
Yeah, and
not
even
as good
Stephen A
anymore.
is like going down in flames
Yeah,
every
but
minute. He's getting
other than First
he's
Take,
working too much. His brain is starting to melt. Like it's just starting to melt.
there's all these memes about Last Take, Second Take, the days when Stephen A and Max don't show up to work.
Yeah.
Those are because other than Max, Stephen A, Woj, maybe Scott Van Pelt. It used to be Rachel Nichols. We don't need to get into that.
No,
That's
no, no. She just
way too,
yeah.
a lot of moving parts over there. Uh,
Yeah.
but but yeah. I mean,
She she was over here on this bus, and then she was over here on this
oh yeah,
bus,
she was
walked
one of the
towards the
faces
train.
of
The
the.
train started moving and hitting her.
She was one of the faces of ESPN, and then
They're gonna have to clean that
and
up.
the thing is like, yeah,
I think she's still doing shows, just not the NBA
yeah, she still
finals.
does her show. They just don't market her that much because they're gonna probably lay low for a year
Not
with
even for
her.
a year. I'm betting you she'll be back to being marketing material in like
Yeah,
3 months.
for a
Right.
year, I mean like till the start of next season. Yeah,
Oh, right. Yeah.
yeah. So, but yeah, and talking about next season, obviously, the time we're recording, Game 4 has started.
Hmm.
Um, series is 2-1. What are your thoughts
As of
on?
right now, yeah, the game is
Yeah, as of
in
right now,
progress. By
series
the
is
time this comes out, y'all will know who won this game, and
Game
it'll be
4. Yeah,
very,
but
very different vibes whether the Bucks win or the Suns win.
yeah,
I'm
but yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
saying the Bucks. I'm saying the Bucks win this game.
Yeah,
Um,
same.
like if you look at the performance yesterday when the Bucks convincingly won and Giannis put up 41, sure like Middleton and Drew quote unquote showed up in terms of
Yeah,
shooting or like giving some support, but if you look at the final stats, they weren't impressive by any measure. Like they didn't score a lot of points. They didn't like Drew of course plays great defense pretty consistently.
yeah.
That's why they brought him
He
there in the
shut down
first place.
Booker and Chris Paul last game, but yeah,
Yeah, and then but most of the fact that they won was because even though Giannis's starting cast played okay, the Suns starting cast played terrible. I'm
right,
actually picking the Bucks to win this game though, because although I think Booker and CP3 will play well, I'm thinking this is the sort of confidence boost that Middleton and Drew need in order to score over 20 points in a game. And I think that's
right.
going to carry them over the top for this game. This
And
one.
I think, yeah, and I think,
Still Suns in six, though. I think the Suns are going
yeah,
to go back and win
I
two.
think I called the Bucks in 6 after they went up 2-0. I'm a bit shaky on that. So, but I still think the Bucks will win the series if it's 6 or 7. But
Mm-hmm.
the reason I say that is if you see the Bucks like pattern, it's win 2 games by a lot, then choke the next game. Win 2 games, choke the next game. It happened when they played the Nets. They were down 2-0. They come back to Milwaukee. They win 2 games. Game 5 there in Brooklyn, they choke a 16-point lead, and then they win the next 2 games
Mm-hmm.
to win the series, right? So, and also I picked the Bucks because they're at home, and
Yeah.
they're like they only have one loss at home this entire postseason.
Yeah,
They're
it's
very
because
good at home.
I think Chuck said it back on the TNT crew at home. Oh, Shaq said it, not Chuck. Shaq said it like role players play really well at home,
Yeah.
and
The others,
superstars are the ones who have to carry on the road.
right?
So
And Giannis is doing his job. Like you
mhm.
can't blame him.
That's
He's
great.
putting
I
up
mean, I
40.
love the way he's playing right now. I know he's
Yeah,
still
he's
shooting
putting up
threes.
40 back to back. He
Maybe
might even put up 40 game 4. We never know, but I guess we will know after this. But
he's
it,
shooting his free throws pretty well.
yeah,
That's
at
the reason
home.
he's getting to 41. That's crazy. He's shooting his free throws well, which gives me hope about his outside shooting in the
No,
upcoming
no, no, no,
season.
no, no.
That instead of becoming a 29% three-point shooter, that he becomes maybe a 35% three-point shooter, just someone
Maybe.
who's maybe a slightly below average. I think the average around 37%.
Yeah,
But if he becomes a 35% free throw shooter, meaning he shoots a three ball, and 1 out of 3 goes in, maybe 1 out of 2 every once in a while. If he does that, that's it for the league.
and also I think
Yeah,
his growth next season it kind of depends on the coach, right?
right.
Look, I personally have
They're
said,
gonna fire him. I
Eve,
hope they fire Budenholzer. If they fire Budenholzer, the Bucks become a dynasty.
yeah, I think even if Budenholzer, say the Bucks somehow win the next 4 games, they take the Suns out in 6.
Mm-hmm.
If they do that, I feel bad for Chris Paul. Hopefully, he joins the Lakers. But if
No.
if they take out the Suns 6 or 7, and if they win, I don't. They should still fire Budenholzer. Like we talked about in the first episode,
Yeah.
this is not happening again. No way the Bucks are winning another finals this way. They're not gonna get the Nets to have these many injuries. The Sixers are not gonna be this bad with Ben or without Ben Simmons.
And then the Celtics are making some moves right now to try to become
Right.
much more
They
competitive.
traded out Kemba. They got a new coach.
And then the
The Heat
Western
are gonna
Conference
become
isn't
better.
going to have this many injuries.
Yeah, the Hawks are gonna be better. The Heat are gonna get better. So the Bucks are not coming back to this position. So in that case, you should get rid of Budenholzer. And if the next coach comes in and says, Giannis, you're gonna start playing more like Shaq, he's not going to shoot as many threes. But if the next guy comes in and makes him a shooter, we'll see. I personally think if Giannis plays like Shaq, right, just play in the paint 100% of the time, I think he's going to be
So then, what are you
a
gonna do
top
with
10
Brooke
player of
Lopez?
all time.
Are you gonna trade Brooke Lopez and then
No, no, no.
so then what are you
He,
gonna do
he,
with him?
make him your center off the bench. I think he's a very good
Yeah,
bench
but
piece.
he's paid too much money to be a center off the bench.
I mean, you could probably free up cap space or renegotiate the contract, especially if you win a championship this year. I don't think Brook Lopez is leaving
I don't
because
know.
he doesn't want to leave a situation where you have the ring. He's only leaving if you don't get the ring and he's not getting any playing time. He's getting all the playing time in the world. It's the
Yeah.
same thing with Kuzma, right? Like Kuzma got all the playing time in the world. He just
Mm-hmm.
wasn't very good.
Yeah.
That's why he didn't go, but he still wanted the ring.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Brook Lopez is in the stage of his career where he's not going to be a number one option or even a number three option. So he'd rather be a role player on a team like the Bucks who actually want to utilize him for shooting threes or in the paint. But then, or like leave to, I don't know what team really wants him. They don't want a big guy who's standing 50 feet from the rim and just shooting like
I don't
half
know.
court
Like,
shots.
I mean, I'm always thinking about the Warriors. The Warriors could trade for
You
him.
want Kawhi Leonard to go to the Warriors.
Yeah,
You want Damian Lillard. You want them
that's
to go.
that might actually happen. Like high key,
That
like
is
that might happen.
that is a
Our
stupid.
defense will become terrible because
You have to give up Clay.
yeah,
You want to give up Clay?
if you put Steph at the 2 and then you put Damian Lillard at the 1,
You want to give
instead
up Clay Thompson?
and then Klay Thompson at the 3, sure
You,
you
there,
and at the
there's
4 or at the 3, you put him at the 3, and then hopefully Wiseman becomes good enough to actually start a lot of games next year. You put him at the 5, and then you put Draymond at the 4 to try to make all the defense work. It's not going to be enough. Like we would I think the off-ball motion would work with Damian Lillard, but the defense would really take a hit. The reason the Warriors defense was so good back in 2017 was because Steph was the only like
defensive liability.
on defense. Like he was the only one on defense who was like not great. And I know by now it's been 5 years. He's become a lot better on defense. He's not a liability anymore. He's about average. But if you want to become a great defensive team and win a championship, you can't have just an average defender.
The thing about
You can't have 3 average defenders out there.
the thing about Dame is one, I don't think you're gonna get Dame without giving Clay Thompson up. There's
And
no
we're not
way.
giving up Clay.
Yeah, then you're not getting Dame. There's no way the Portland Trailblazers are gonna take a bunch like Andrew Wiggins or Wiseman
We
without
trade our
taking.
picks. We trade our
I
picks.
don't think I don't. This draft isn't necessarily strong outside of Evan Mobley and Kate Cunningham and Jalen Green,
We
the
would
guy
probably have
coming
to
out of.
take like Davion Mitchell or something, a slasher.
Yeah, but I don't think he's like a role player. He's a good defender. He's like a Draymond-esque player.
Steph was
He's
taken
not a
at 7.
franchise
I don't
guy.
know. Fine.
But yeah,
Steph was taken at 7 in 2009. I don't know.
all right.
I don't know. In terms of today's game, in terms of like today's game, I really want to see how, and I know the game has just started now, so, but essentially, I want to see how Giannis takes the fact that his team didn't show up, and if he can influence them showing up. I think that's what LeBron
Right.
did really well. Like, sure, I'll hate on LeBron. He's not the GOAT, whatever. But I think what LeBron does well is that even like his teams will suck. Like his teams will suck for like 1 or 2 games, but never like 3 games in a row.
Right.
Or like
Especially when you have two all-stars on your team.
huh?
Especially when you have like an all-star caliber player and
Yeah.
an all-star on your team
I
other
mean,
than
LeBron
Giannis.
has always had after his first in Cleveland, he's always had 2 All-Stars on his team. But
Right. Oh,
um,
not last year, but yeah,
oh yeah, but not last year. Last year he had
just Davis.
1 All-Star player, but that All-Star player is
It's
really
really
a
good. Yeah.
top 5 player. Yeah, so that's why that worked. I would say, hmm, like I want to see like I saw those clips of Giannis there at the baseline screaming at his people saying you gotta shoot the ball, please let the ball go in the net, or like I don't know what he was saying, but he probably was saying that in his accent. He got that Greek accent going and
Yeah.
screaming at his people.
I just
Um,
want
uh,
Thanasis to enter the game. I think he's gonna be the real MVP.
yeah.
Uh,
He could either go out like a LeBron 2017 situation where he plays well, everyone else doesn't really show up or isn't as good, and and they all flame out, or it would become a LeBron 2016 situation where he elevates the play of his teammates. He gets their morale back. It'll all depend on this game four. If you're down
right.
3-1,
Yeah,
the Bucks
that's hard.
aren't LeBron, so
No,
like
yeah,
there's no emotional sort of stability there or championship DNA to like
yeah.
push back. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
Might go
you
to a
have
game
no.
seven still, but I still think the Suns would close.
Yeah, you got Chris Paul who really, really wants it right now. Like he knows
Yeah,
this is it.
yeah.
So,
You
and
have
you need
information.
you have Devin Booker almost on the verge of breaking the Kardashian curse.
Okay,
He
yeah, yeah,
really
yeah.
wants to do that.
Yeah. That's true.
So
I mean, he goes out there and he shoots them threes, he shoots them shots, and then he shoots them shots at home too. Um, trying to make it work, and trying to work it at home.
okay.
Um, uh, yeah, he can, and if I don't know, the ring is a ring. Um,
Yeah,
uh, Even
I
though
don't. Yeah,
a lot of injuries
but yeah,
right
but
now, it may look tainted, but
at the
um,
end of the day, nobody's
but
gonna.
like 5 years from now, when people talk about this, they're gonna say like, "Oh, he won the ring. Like that's the championship. He got the
And in
championship."
the finals, everybody's healthy, or the main players are healthy. At least in
Right.
the finals, there's no main players that are injured. So at
Mm-hmm.
least it's somewhat of an even field for
Mm-hmm.
both teams in
Yeah.
at the finals.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that's it for today.
Mm-hmm. That's it for today. Yeah.
All right, see y'all next time.